Here's how to get CUDA working on Windows 11. First thing you want to do is make sure you have Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code installed. Go to Downloads, Operating System Windows. I'm on Windows 11. Architecture x86-64, Windows 11. I would go with exe local download. Once that's downloaded, you can double click to install. You can just run through the setup. It takes about a minute. You do have an NVIDIA card, right? Because this is not going to work if you don't. You're going to want to remember to reboot your computer after CUDA is installed. As of July 26, 2024, we're on version 12.5. I would recommend Express install unless you're up to something fancy. If you're going into Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, you can't see CUDA as an option. Most likely you have not rebooted since installing CUDA. Make sure you have Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code installed before you do this, or else CUDA won't add itself to Visual Studio's toolkit. You can always run this again if you need to. You can run this as many times as necessary. It's not going to hurt anything if you run it twice or if you do it in the wrong order on accident. It's not necessary to launch the GeForce experience. You can create the desktop shortcut if you want. After that, I would recommend rebooting your computer. This is a good time to do that. You start. Once you're back from rebooting, go ahead and fire up Visual Studio. Visual Studio I found is easier to get going than Visual Studio Code. We're going to create a new project. CUDA should be available as a template, new template list. You can also search for it. CUDA. If you don't see this here, most likely it didn't get added to the class path, which means you installed CUDA before installing Visual Studio, or it means you haven't rebooted your computer since installing CUDA. If that doesn't work, I would recommend running through the CUDA installation again and rebooting the computer. Come up with a clever name for your project. Hello, CUDA. Write your CUDA code. Hit the run button. Jazz hands, it's done. I'm going to provide the code that I used in this video in the description. I should be able to just scroll down the description and find it there. And that's it. That's all there is to running CUDA. Nailed it.